When you hear the word idolatry, what comes to mind? Probably ancient history, right? Golden calves, stone statues, stuff that feels like it belongs in a museum. But what if I told you that the very same impulse is alive and well right now, in our modern world? We're going to dive in and see how this ancient idea might be closer to home than you think.
It sounds like a trick question, doesn't it? A metal statue and your 9-to-5 job. But trust me, the line connecting those two things, it reveals a massive shift in what we worship, and it's the key to everything we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to update our definition. We have to move past the idea that an idol is just some physical thing you bow down to. The real battleground for idolatry today, it's way more subtle. It's inside of us. So check this out. It's like a tale of two idols, really. On one side, you have the classics, physical statues, things you could literally see and touch. But on the other side, that's where we live. We're talking about abstract ideas, intangible things. And here's the crazy part. They're usually good things, like success or security or family. But they get promoted. They stop being a good thing and become the ultimate thing. All right, so this is the key takeaway, our working definition for today. A modern idol is anything, and I mean anything, that takes that number one spot in your heart. It's what you look to for your deep down sense of safety, your core identity, your feeling of worth. It's a counterfeit master, and whether we realize it or not, it demands our total loyalty. Okay, so now that we have that new definition locked in, let's start connecting the dots. You're going to be surprised at how direct the lines are between the idols of the ancient world and the obsessions of our own. Let's kick things off with something super basic, something we all feel, that need to feel safe, to feel like we're going to be okay. Where do we turn for that? Okay, so picture this. The Israelites are out in the desert. They're scared, right? So they build the golden calf. They needed a visible, tangible God that promised them, I will provide for you. Well, that impulse, it didn't just disappear. It just changed its address. For so many of us, money and materialism serve the exact same function. A big bank account becomes our ultimate source of security in a really uncertain world. All right, next up, worth and meaning. This is a big one. What makes you feel like you matter? What gives your life purpose? In the ancient world, they worshipped gods like Baal and Asherah, who were all about fertility and production. Basically, their worth was tied to their output, to what they could produce. Sound familiar? For a lot of people today, our ultimate identity is found in our productivity, our career, our job title, our list of accomplishments. Our job stops being what we do and becomes who we are. And for our last comparison, let's talk about that search for, that feeling of being whole, of truly belonging. Where do we go to feel complete? So back in the day, people had these little statues in their homes, these teraphim. They were personal, intimate gods you'd look to for guidance and protection. Well, today, we often place that exact same weight on other people, a partner, our kids, our friend group. We start putting this massive pressure on them to give us a sense of purpose and identity that honestly, no human relationship was ever built to handle. Okay, so we've seen these parallels, right? Statues and careers, household gods and relationships. But what's the engine driving all of this? What's the common thread that ties ancient idolatry to our modern anxieties? Well, turns out there is one. Just think about it for a sec. What's the core desire behind wanting more money for security, or more success for meaning, or that perfect relationship for fulfillment? And boom, here it is. The word is covetousness. And it's more than just simple jealousy. It's that deep down gnawing belief that you must have something, or you won't be happy, you won't be secure, you won't be fulfilled. It's when a want becomes a desperate, all-consuming need. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some new age idea. The Bible draws a direct, unmistakable line. This verse doesn't say that greed leads to idolatry. It says greed is idolatry. That insatiable desire, that coveting heart, that is the act of worship. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road. It's one thing to talk about this stuff in theory, but how do we actually spot these idols in our own lives? I'm going to walk you through a few really practical diagnostic questions. Let's start with a big one. And I want you to be really honest with yourself here. What is your greatest nightmare? What's the one thing that, if you lost it, would make you feel like life just isn't worth living anymore? Your answer points like a laser beam to what your heart truly relies on for security. Okay, how about this one? Is there a person, or maybe a group of people, whose approval you just crave, whose criticism would absolutely crush you? If you have an immediate answer to that, their approval might be functioning as an idol of worth in your life.
So you've had a bad day, you're feeling rejected or criticized. Where do you run? What's your immediate go-to? Is it Netflix, shopping, food, your work? Where you run for comfort when you're hurting, that often reveals an idol of pleasure or control. And finally, anger. Anger is an incredible X-ray for the heart. Think about what makes you just unreasonably angry. It happens when something you believe you deserve, respect, comfort, control, gets blocked or taken away. That explosion of anger reveals just how much you treasure that thing. Look, the point of these questions isn't to beat ourselves up. Not at all. It's about getting honest. It's about having the courage to look under the hood and figure out what's really in charge of our hearts, what's really demanding our service. So that's where we'll land today. It all comes down to this one question. From golden calves to career ladders, from ancient statues to modern anxieties, the fundamental question has never changed. So, what sits on the throne of your heart? Because whatever you put on that throne, it's going to be the master of your life. It's going to call the shots. That's a question worth asking.
Thanks for watching. Visit our website, www.christthelivingtruth.com, to learn more.